welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie, and this is going to be the first 12 books that I ever read in my reading journey. As I said, this is the first 12 books that I read in my reading journey. I get this question a lot of, if I want to start romance, where do I start and things like that. Well, I have a hard time saying, hey, go read this book or hey, go read that book. For me, I just jumped in and I'm going to give you guys the first 12 books. I went on Goodreads and checked out to see, what books I started off reading when I started reading like heavily into romance, and that was in 2012. So my Goodreads, because Goodreads is amazing like that, showed me that these are the 12 books, and I figure I would just go through them and let you guys know what my feelings on them are. I have not reread any of them, I don't think, except for my first three. Nope, not first three. Three of them. I'll just say three of them. And I'm sure you're going to know which three I'm talking about as soon as I get to them. But yeah, so let's just get into those books. So the very first book that I read after receiving my Kindle was The Help by Kathryn Stockett. And I remember picking up this book and reading it because the movie had just came out. And I was like, wow, I didn't know this movie was based off of a book. And I liked the movie and enjoyed the movie and everything like that. I thought Viola Davis was amazing. Octavia Spencer, amazing. Oh my God, that pie scene was just absolutely amazing. And then when the credits started to roll and it was like based off of this book, I was like, hey, my husband just bought me a new Kindle, so why don't I go and, check this book out. I think it was like, it was selling for like really cheap, or it was for free or something like that. For some reason I went ahead and got it and was like, okay, and I started reading it and I read it, and I was happy that I read the book after I had watched the movie, because it sort of put it into perspective about, how the flow and everything like that. In the book, it's all about interviews, and the chapters are broken down by characters, I believe. So it was my very first like tiptoe into multiple character points of view within a book, and I just found it so much easier to watch the movie and understand what was going on than to have all the words and all broken down like that. Then the next books that I read was the 50 Shades trilogy. And these are the books that I have reread over and over and over again. I fell in love with these books when I first read them, and I just devoured them. So that's 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Freed. I just loved it. I was like, oh wow, I really, really am enjoying this series, and thought, oh, what can I read next that is almost like that? Which then takes us to Taken by Kitt, and I believe this was like recommended by Amazon and was saying, hey, if you like 50 Shades, then you're gonna like this trilogy or this book as well. So I took a chance on it. I want to say it was like 99 cents or free or something like that, and it was okay. It was different. It was very different. I don't even really remember what it's about. According to Goodreads, I only gave it 3 stars when I read it. And then I went on to read Honor Thy Teacher by Teresa Mummert. And I remember enjoying this book because this is a student-teacher romance, and it's taboo in a way, and then there's some twists and turns. I remember loving this, but then as it goes on, you'll see the book stopped coming out. I mean, it's supposed to be a series, and I don't think the series ever finished. So then the next book that I read, which is the next book in this series, is Honor Student by Teresa Mummert. And I thought I really enjoyed that one as well. And I like the twists and turns. And I was like, oh yeah, let's get to the next one. And I believe that it was supposed to be like 4 or 5 books, and I think we only got like 3 books, maybe 4. But I don't know that I read the 4th book. I'm not sure. I would have to go and check. And then the next book that I read was a more mainstream book, and that is The Marriage Bargain by Jennifer Probst. And this book, I don't remember too much about it. I do remember it being very sort of light versus things. Looking back, it was light. Looking back now, I can say that it was light. When I read it, I would say that it was probably edgy, maybe, because it's about a fake relationship, and that was sort of my tiptoe into the whole fake relationships and, you know, that trope in romance. And then I finished reading Honor and Obey, which is the 3rd book in that trilogy by Teresa Mummert. And I was like, oh, I was here for it. There are some more twists and turns in this student-teacher story. They get out of school, I believe, and there's a murder mystery, I believe, that's connected to it as well. And, you know, that was the last book that I ended up reading of that series, and I don't think it's completed. I'm kind of upset about that. I think that was another reason why I stopped reading that author's books as well, because she was like, here's a sort of short book, you know, less than 200 pages, and then I'm just not going to finish writing it. That's just, you know, whatever. Then I read Safe With Me, the complete series by Shaina Richmond. And this was a big book. This is a very big book. It came out to 763 pages. That is because there are 8 parts in this one book. And this was my first sort of parlay or tiptoe into omnibus books where they bundle them together and you have the entire story. And I want to say that this story was very dark and twisted. There's some drug use in it. There are some you know, scenes that are just not very kind to someone that would want to read something that's light and fluffy. This definitely tiptoed me into that dark and twisted world of romance, and I was there for it. I was there for it. And I would reread this series because it was diverse. I do remember it being diverse because there was a Native American character in it, and I believe there's a curvy or heavier set female character that's in there, because I think there's some talk about her body image and things like that. And yeah, I was here for it. I was here for it. Then the next book was The Erotic Dark by Nina Lane, and another dark twisted romance that I was like, oh yeah. And this book showed me that I like to have a safe place when it comes to understanding and knowing about kink and different kinks that are out there. And this happens to be one of those books. It is dark, it's taboo, it has that whole slave aspect to it, not the slave of American history knowledge. It has the BDSM sort of higher end of BDSM when it comes to slaves and forced in servitude and stuff like that, but with a sexual manner. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was twisted, it was crazy, and I really enjoyed that story. And then the last book that I'm going to talk about of the first 12 books that I read that got me completely into the romance genre was The Marriage List by Jane C. Joachim. Wow. Okay. don't even really remember this book. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, so it was probably one of those that was just like, it was alright. And if by standards of my rating today, it probably would be less if I was to reread it. There was something, obviously, that was just like, for me. So, have you read any of my first 12 books? Let me know down in the comments section. And you know, let's just discuss it. What were your first sort of gateway books into your reading style and reading taste of today? Let me know. We can discuss and everything like that. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.